Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm tired of streaming without seeing comments. I don't
What
want
are
to
you,
do
Bruce
that.
Wayne?
And also, like,
Computer?
I got a headache and stuff. I don't really feel like, yeah.
Is everyone started?
Computer.
I'll participate.
Locate the Joker.
Look at the Joker.
Okay.
Computer.
You're just going to
Locate
tell me
Dick
when you want me to
Grayson.
jump.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries, guys. One
We're
second.
waiting for BT to start introducing us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We're
Yeah.
just gonna fall right in. So, I guess everybody
We're
line
just
up.
gonna do it from
whoever
this
wants to
side.
go. I don't care where I am in the line. Whoever wants
No
to go.
word from Sarah.
first.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, get on
I
it,
guess
boys.
we'll just
Alright.
wait
Go.
for him to say our name and then,
Go, go, go.
What,
All of us?
everybody?
Is that turned up? One by one, if that's all right.
One by one.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm jumping.
He wants you
I'm
last
jumping.
in
I'm
line.
jumping. I'm jumping. All right, that's me.
Woo!
He wants to
Okay.
go last
Hey,
one
we
to come
got Dave Station
Okay.
VR.
Welcome to the PS4 chat show.
Yeah. Lewis Knight PSVR.
What's up, brother?
Boom.
Party join.
I can watch that. You watch.
Awesome.
Good way.
Awesome.
Ah, Jason the Livinator. How you doing, man? Such a gentleman. And we got Shughead from Shughead Gaming.
What up, what up?
What up, what up?
Yes!
Danish, what's happening?
Wow.
Nice.
I love the audience. I know that they all love us. Wicked. They all love
And
us.
Jimith Jamith.
Okay, check.
Yeah, man.
Check my move, so it might look like I'm grabbing your ass.
Here he
with my
comes.
Rock and roll.
Nice.
Promise.
In that
And the man
case.
himself, Reggie. Reg Strange from Strange Games. How's it going, man? You good?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
Hey.
Hey.
Excellent stuff.
Real fun.
Cool, and welcome to the PSVR chat show. Look at this level. Oh, it's savage.
This level's amazing.
Beautiful.
If we take it,
Look at like there's
amazing, man.
like there's giant bullets in the skies. Look at the giant bullets.
Well, Reggie, you're in my chair, dude. You're in my chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was...
You can have an aim controller, though, if you want. There you go.
All right.
Have an aim controller. Nice, man.
Awesome.
Oh, I actually haven't got any coffee. Sweet. So, what should we do? Do you want to get the viewer questions out of the way first, or have you guys got some questions for Reggie already?
Whatever you guys want to do.
Anybody got viewer questions?
let's do viewer
Yeah,
questions.
man, let's
You're
do
in
the
charge,
viewer
BT,
questions.
whatever you
So-
want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Diz, first question is, how long will the game be in beta? Actually, introduce the beta first, because you told us there's a date coming. It's the 18th, I believe.
Yes, this Tuesday, the open beta will release. We'll probably do a couple of phases with it. So each phase may be lasting a week and a half, just depending on feedback and how many bugs we find. And then, with the final game following after the final phase of the open beta. So it's kind of fluid right now, so we don't have a firm date on that. It'll just kind of just kind of see how the beta does.
Excellent. And tell us some features about the game.
It's going to be 32 players, so it'll be 2
I can't wait for that.
Wait, for people who don't know Reggie, did we say what the name of the game is yet?
Honor and Duty D-Day.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Honor and Duty D-Day.
Superb. Cheers, Dave. Thank you.
Good shout.
Yeah, so it's a cartoony World War II shooter, kind of the sequel to Arcade Edition. So we have 32 players. Do have squads. Squads will be in the open beta this Tuesday. We do have squad chat working, so you'll be able to chat with your squad mates. I know that was a big thing people wanted in Arcade Edition. It supports the AIM controller, the Move controller, as well as the DS4. It is
brilliant.
VR optional, meaning the flat players can play as well. So I know there's been some questions about that.
Wow.
That's cool.
And one of the things we're excited about is the the controller options. I think everybody's probably heard about, where you can use the AIM controller along with the Move controller. So you can use and depending on what controller configuration you're using, it'll automatically kind of switch between different modes. So if you have an AIM controller on, it's going to default to that being your primary weapon. So then if you turn on the Move, then that will automatically be your secondary. So
So like all you do is also so all you do is like just hit a button on you pick up the Move and hit a button and it activates it.
Well, if the Move controller is on, then it's going to be tracked and it will assign a weapon to it.
Right.
And then you can switch between whether you want a knife or a sidearm.
What about grenades, Reggie?
And then you switch to
and then you're right, and then you switch to
gonna be amazing,
the aim controller just by picking that back on the hand, like pulling the trigger or something.
Right. There's really no
just
switching between it. I mean, it's in your hand. So if you set it down, your primary weapon system, sits
Right.
down.
So I'm sorry, and grenades as well.
Right, that'll be on your move as well. Your secondary.
Sweet.
So if you're playing with an aim and a
It
move.
sounds amazing.
Sweet.
And they're cookable, aren't they? You got cookable grenades.
Right. So when you
Just like that.
now if you're playing with the
Bloopers.
move for your grenades, you can use what we call realistic grenade toss, which means you literally take and sling the grenade.
Awesome.
Or you can just push a button and it'll just launch it with a preset velocity. So we've got it set up to where if you use the realistic grenade toss, you can throw the grenade a little further. So it's kind of an added
Nice.
perk to if you
I like
go with
that.
the full realism.
That's really good.
I want to throw that shit, dude.
Take my money.
Yeah, man.
I
Absolutely.
think with the aim plus the move is going to be huge because people have been asking for that forever, and there's no other
Yeah.
game that has
Right,
that yet.
right.
And I remember
Absolutely.
when Dream Match Tennis came out and it could use the nav controller for the PS
Yeah.
Move, people were like,
Right.
"Oh wow, this is awesome! Like, how come nobody's done this before?"
Right.
it
And
got
what
a
about
bunch of
the
buzz from that.
vehicles?
So that's a good idea for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
vehicles.
man.
And the vehicles. How do you drive the vehicles? You drive the vehicles with the move controllers.
Yeah, you can. With the move controller, basically your left hand is like a joystick. So if you push it forward, you're going to go forwards, back, left, and right. And that is for vehicles as well as movement. Now, there's two options with the move controllers. You can go into the joystick mode, or you can do kind of the other mode would be both hands are on the weapon. So you're looking like this. In which case, then we have to use buttons for movement because you can't use a joystick if you're using it to track your weapon. I'm not sure if that makes sense. So, but you can toggle between the modes with the left move button, so you can immediately go from one to the other real quick.
Okay.
So we're trying to give people as many options, as we can, and make it, easy to switch.
I
them
can't
out
wait.
if you don't like it.
I can't wait to try all the options.
So you were
Yeah,
saying if you
so-
got the DualShock sitting next to you, you could actually pick up the DualShock and drive and then put that back down.
Right. Yeah. So you can have all the PlayStation supports up to 4 Bluetooth devices. So you can have a DS4, an aim, and 2 moves connected at the same time.
And none of this will.
Jeez.
But
It's
none of
amazing.
and none of
That's what
this
I'm saying.
interferes with.
octopuses.
Okay, wait. But none of this interferes with the others. In a way, like none of them would cause drift to the others, or
yeah, I've heard about
lagging,
that.
or jumping.
I haven't noticed any in testing, but if that comes
Okay.
up, let us know. And we'll, worst case, you just turn off, the controller you don't need. But
Right.
you should be able, and there's so many combinations. We haven't fully tested everything. We try to test as we go on, but there might be some combination where something doesn't work right. But again, that's why we're doing an open beta is to find all those issues. So.
I think
I
making
can't
it
wait
like
to sell
the beta is
holsters and
incredible.
stuff. That would be awesome. Like if you could just be strapped up and have everything on you, standing
Yeah.
up, like just pull out.
Imagine, that's what I was thinking. That'd be so.
Oh, I'm making a holster.
Yeah.
Commando style.
Yeah, I know Paul was talking about that. He was going to make a holster for his aim or for his move.
I'm so gonna throw a move controller across my living room. It's gonna happen.
Man, you have the straps for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
We have
Yeah,
a
I almost
viewer
lost a
question
move
still,
a couple
right?
of times during testing.
Yeah, that's
Too realistic grenade throw.
JD threw one across the room in Spark.
So what other weapons have you got? I mean, what have you got? You got pistols, assault rifles. What have you got?
Assault rifles, sniper rifles, sidearm, melee weapon, grenades. We'll eventually have mortars, landmines, and rocket launchers. But those won't be in the open beta this Tuesday. We might actually get the landmines in this week. It just depends on, how many bugs we find and all. So.
That's
Awesome.
amazing.
I'm very excited about this.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
going to be really good.
I just hope it goes over well. Our biggest fear is, everybody's excited and we're excited, and just hope that, there's no unplayable bugs found. That's the big challenge is we're
Damn
just
it.
very limited.
Sorry about
I mean,
that.
how it'd be able to really fully test 32 players. So. I did
and
actually
so
write
just-
a special bot that we could spawn up to 30 players to test with, locally. And, we haven't seen anything, but, once you get a real match going with 30 real players, then you're bound to find other issues. So.
That's going to be good.
So as far as the beta goes, just to clarify, I know you guys had done some testing on PC before. This is PSVR beta? Or is this a PC
Yes,
beta?
this is a PSVR beta. It'll come to the
Awesome.
PlayStation Store on Tuesday, so there'll be no codes. You don't need any codes. And actually, we wanted to get codes so we could have given you guys out some review codes to try it out before the beta releases, but I think they were going to charge like $5,000 to set up codes.
Nah, man, you good. We're good. We'll just wait. We'll just wait. You save your money, man. You save your money.
So, yeah, it'll be an open beta on the PlayStation on this Tuesday. You don't need, VR or to play it. Now, we often we'll try to do some PC-based tests, and that's just kind of off the grid sort of thing. We'll distribute a PC build. They'll run on pretty much any, decent computer. You don't need a high-end gaming PC, and it's not a VR build. So sometimes we'll get people to help us with PC tests, and that's just our own little offline test or whatever.
Right.
That's really smart.
If anybody's available, I would like to try to do that this weekend to get one last test in. So if you guys are around, I'll send out an email or whatever with the link if y'all want to help.
I'll help.
Oh yeah, man.
Of course.
Great.
Hey, Jimmy,
We'll help.
can't wait.
You'll love it, man. Do we have the viewer questions still to go through?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we've got loads.
Let's get to it. So, these are not in any particular order. From Diz, how long will the beta be?
You mean in terms of how long will it be available to
Yeah,
play?
is it like Monday to Monday? Is it monthly? Is it,
Probably what we'll do is, and like I say, it just depends on how feedback goes. If we find a lot of bugs, we'll probably keep running until we squash the majority of bugs. But the plan is for probably about a week to a week and a half for the initial one. Go back, add stuff, fix stuff, and then come back and probably do it,
That's
about
what Call of Duty's doing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so try to do one at least once a month until, we feel like it's ready for final release. So,
Sweet.
That's great.
superb? The next question's already been answered. You've said about squads. What's the size of the squads? This is from Diz. Basically, since player is so large, our teams broke it down to squads of 4. And if you're in a party, will everyone be put into the same squads automatically?
you can change squads in the middle of the match, so you can just bring up your options, go down to squads, so you can switch squads on the fly.
Nice.
We originally were going to do, because of 16 players, we're originally going to do 4 squads of 4 players, but what I thought would be better would be to do 6-player squads so that you would never have like a full set of squads. If you spawned in and you were the 16th player, there's no option to change. So this way, there'll always be the way, like if you get in with a couple of friends, you'll always have a squad with a few empty slots so that you'll be able to change over and swap around or whatever. So.
Okay, this one's from 2%.
Nice.
The original Honor and Duty came out as a non-VR game. How much did transferring over to VR reflect in sales?
That's actually an interesting question because I would say, just going off my memory, I think the first couple of weeks of the VR update probably was a lot more than the first month or two of just the base game.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, so it was very substantial. But you got to take into account that the base game. I was really bad at social marketing back then. That was back in 2016. I had no social, media footprint at all. I reached out to some review sites. Nobody, really knew much about it. So it didn't get a lot of buzz going into its launch. And also it launched at one of the worst times. I think it was around November. So you had the Call of Duty and all the big games launching. So, it really didn't have an optimal release. So I'm not sure how well it really would have done if I'd done things different. But the VR update definitely was a big boost. And it was well worth doing. I had no idea it was going to be that anticipated. So, final. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say this is Battlefield for us. In VR, we don't have choices.
Yeah, right. No,
that's right.
As soon as I heard like a hint of like, oh, this may come to VR, I bought it, and it was only like $1. So it was on sale. It was on sale.
Yeah.
It was cheap and it used the aim controller, and I was like, that's all I wanted to hear.
But but when the beta did. I mean, it did finally come to VR. You guys were. It was the truth. It came to VR. Now it worked. It worked for what it was.
Yeah,
it
it's
worked.
absolutely cool.
So I'm hoping. I got higher hopes for D-Day. Is what I'm saying.
Me too. Everybody's been so excited about it. I just hope we don't let anybody down. I hope it comes out and it's playable and, there's just no major bugs. That's my big fear right
Reggie,
now.
it sounds like you've put so much thought into it. I can't see that happening.
Yes.
Like you have put so much. You thought of everyone. It sounds to me like you've really put a lot of thought into it. So I'm sure that's not going to happen. So the next question is from Rakan too. Why did you choose World War II as the theme?
It's a good question. I
Best
think,
war. No, I'm just kidding.
Best war.
And I put a lot of thought in that question because I'm not really sure how we got onto the World War II, but we've just been doing it for a while. the original Honor and Duty came out on the Xbox 360 indie games, and it was just an avatar game. And so it was a World War II setting, so we just kind of carried over that for the launch, on the PlayStation 4, and then, we just kind of got into it. So it's, I don't know, at some point we would like to do some other genres, but right now World War II is just fun. There's a lot of neat things you can do.
I always find it interesting when, like, Call of Duty or other things, they go forward and then they come back. And it seems like whenever they go forward in the future of a game, everyone seems to go, I want to go back. I want to play World War I or World War II. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
God Cannon's on his way.
Here's
One
God
thing I
Cannon.
got to ask real quick is, as far as the World War II setting goes, like, are there Germans and Americans and is that how the teams play out, or like
That's how it was in World War II. Like in World War II, yeah.